Good evening, everybody. It's good to see you. Kevin, glad to have you back. I understand you have experienced an injury.
Yeah. I think I've re-broken my foot. I will confirm tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure it's broken.
How'd you do it?
So before I left the resort, I smashed it on something. I don't know what it was, but I was transferring from one room to the other really quickly and accidentally kicked something. And then because I wanted to beat the weather, I drove 2 hours. And it was the driving foot. And then yesterday, while cleaning some snow, I slipped on a giant patch of ice and went flying down my driveway and then smashed into my fence, which then meant, because it was feet first, that I had to hit my foot, which is the exact same spot where a couple of years ago, my ring crew, God bless them, decided that in all the years I had wrestled and had only sustained one actual major injury, they were going to replace that with dropping the wrestling ring frame on my foot.
Your foot has had an awful lot of misfortune. I'm sorry to hear it.
Yes.
Other than that, you been up to anything fun?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was watching the State of the Union. That was amusing. And I downloaded the Star Trek Voyager game, which I have not played yet.
I've heard good things, although I can't imagine why.
Sitting on my PlayStation, so I will endeavor to dust that off at some point in time. And I got to. I guess now it's a little old now because I have a Jaden video that I was going to throw up, but I just lost track of time and didn't get a chance to edit it. But I think I'll do it anyway. I'll make it part one of Infinity. I'm sure I can talk about this terrible show into perpetuity.
Next up, got Marvin joining us as well. Marvin, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Just put out a video on just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, which was Grace Randolph going nuclear about this guy with Tourette's and calling him a racist when he can't actually control the things that he says.
I have so many thoughts on this.
I've been waiting for your thoughts on this because, you are my ebony shield.
Well, let's bring in our final guest before I take us down this rabbit hole.
Actually, I think she dropped. We do have Trish on the show tonight, but she was having some difficulties with her mic, and so I think she's actually dropped. So when she comes back, I will get her back in, and we'll have her for the discussion. But for right now, definitely filibuster. Let's hear your thoughts on this.
All right. So, I'm of many thoughts about this, right? One, the technical director of the Bathas needs to get a serious talking to, because I feel fairly certain that there is no way on God's green earth that they were not aware that this man had Tourette's and that they were putting him
in place. Shot on a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, I think so.
And they removed other outbursts that he had throughout the evening. They left this one in specifically, I think, because the only time anyone talks about award shows anymore is when controversy happens.
What? So he was put there because they knew something would happen. They wanted something to happen because they needed something to happen, and it did happen. The other part of this is, okay, listen, the guy's got a disease. There's no need to rake him over to Coles. It's not like you can't go anywhere on this planet and not have heard the word at least once. So yes, it is feasible that he could have never actually used it, and it's just floating around in his brain somewhere. And it came out at a very unfortunate time, but we also, people with Tourette's say very outlandish things. Case in point, we just gave a young lady a television show because of the outlandish things she says on the Freak Channel. On TLC, the former Learning Channel, because she says, unfortunately, that's just what you get. They wanted shock value. They got something shocking. Here's the other thing. There comes a point in time in life where you have to remember a few things. Words don't hurt. It is time to Stop giving this word power that it does not need to have in life. It is just a word. It is just a word. And generally people who use it with the intent to afflict harm, generally they're very pathetic, miserable people, not worthy of your time and or attention. So this guy is not that person. So instead of finding a reason to make everybody miserable and do what these folks do best because they are creatively inept and inferior to their predecessors, let's go find that she's called a bunch of people racist for reasons. Let's just move on and let this nothing burger be what it is. And for everybody out there whining, crying about how they were so upset and offended, what do you want? Get over it. Sack up a little bit.
Nate was giving us some background on this guy because he said that this guy is like a national treasure in England.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he met the Queen, and the Queen like honored him for all of his activism work that he does for people with Tourette's. And when he was meeting the Queen, he literally screamed "F the Queen" in the Queen's face. And she was unfazed by it and just said, "It's fine. I understand. I understand what this is. I understand what it does." So for Grace Randolph to say things like he knew what he was saying, or he said it because he thought it, or, you know, she said Tourette's just means no filter, which is so categorically false.
Mm-hmm. But we're dealing with people who obfuscate and twist things for their needs. Anybody with half a brain understands that Tourette's is a disorder. It is not a no filter thing. It's not your drunk uncle who's had a few in him and wants to irritate another uncle who is diametrically opposed to him. So he says some things because he wants to be outrageous. This is a person who struggles. So it's just, and listen, Grace. Well, one, everybody who watches Grace remembers her Crazy Rich Asians review. Grace is the last person who should be poking racist at anybody, up to and including her feud with Humberto Gonzalez, where she said some very questionable things about Latino review. So, you know, I have yet to actually meet a leftist or left-leaning person who does not embody hypocrisy as easy as the sun shines bright.
Well, so did you see who she blamed for everything? She blamed Nerdrotic.
I saw she must be really low in engagement and decided to go pick a fight that she was not going to win, and now everybody's going to say her name for the next 2 weeks.
So what I said in my video on it, I said, look, this guy cannot help what he says. He has no control over the things that come out of his mouth. Grace Randolph has full control of the things that come out of her mouth, and she still said all of this. So
yeah, Grace has full control to be as stupid as a human being can be, and exercise the right every chance she gets.
To give another view on this, there was somebody who is I think a TikToker or a YouTuber or something. She came out and said that she had jumped the gun on this because she didn't understand the disease and got corrected, and she wanted to apologize to everybody. And that's a classy thing to do, because I'm convinced this guy, like I said last night on the Pro Show, is that your brain is a classification engine, and part of the reason for that is to know how to deal with threats. If you ever notice, whenever something startles you, it's because your brain has not categorized what it is that has caught your attention, and your instinct is danger, and your body automatically reacts to it to keep you from being in a situation where you're going to be eaten by a tiger, for example. So when something first enters your perception, your brain has to classify it, and that involves determining what is the thing. Is it animal, mineral, or vegetable? Is it mobile? Does it look dangerous? Is it brightly colored? And then you have to say human, animal, inanimate object, what is it? And then you go through all the synonyms that you know for the thing as you're trying to classify down to determine, is this thing safe or is it not? And then when you have Tourette's, in addition to all of that, not only does your brain misfire at random times, but it's also firing with anxiety. And I am convinced what this guy was probably going through was he saw two black men on the stage. His brain was running through all of the synonyms that he knew for black, and those unfortunate words came up, and I'll bet what happened was he was thinking, don't say that, and the anxiety trigger kicks, out it comes.
Well,
And
that's the thing. Like a lot of times with this specific kind of Tourette's, you will say the worst thing you could possibly say in that moment. There's this one girl who I guess she has a show on HBO Max or something like that. Tom was telling us about it on Minute's Edge, where she's like when she's in the airport, she will inevitably scream that she has a bomb or a gun. Like it's because it's the worst thing you could possibly say in that moment. But my favorite comment of the night was Az from Heels versus Babyface. He said, I want to give a huge shout out to the leftist virtue signals out there for curing Tourette's. Who knew all you had to do was not blurt out the involuntary words that they cannot help but blurting out. Thank you so much for advancing medical science with your big brain.
yeah, and to be fair, it's like I'm sure that was not a pleasant experience for either Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo. You don't want to hear something like that. And I sympathize for them if it did cause them hurt feelings, but that's all it is. It's hurt feelings. And I would hope once the situation was explained to them that they would understand. It's like the guy meant no harm.
If the Queen of England can take it, like that he screamed obscenities into her face. Like
speaking of the Queen.
How do I sound? I'm on a backup mic.
Good.
Actually, I think this sounds better than your usual mic.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Then I don't have to panic and be like, oh, I have to get a new one because yeah,
No,
I don't
that's
know. It was showing like the computer and everything was recognizing the microphone, StreamYard, everything. It wasn't muted. I tried reinstalling the driver, I tried everything, and just no sound was coming out of it. It was just
Nobody
like,
cares about that,
okay.
Trish. What do you think of the Tourette's guy?
Yeah, I'm still on my microphone. You're throwing me here. No, I mean, what little I know of it is like, come on, it's Tourette's, like.
We have to pity this guy. I mean, after Randy Orton and Batista threw him into an electrical box, they have ruined his life.
That's a good Goldust joke.
So
got him on the Howard Stern show.
Ugh.
But,
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just it's like you can't control it any more than you'd be able to control a sneeze. It's just a bodily tick. It's so I feel bad for the poor guy because now they're all demanding he apologize, and this guy is like a Tourette's activist. I don't think he's going to apologize because this guy is not one of those guys who's not in the business of apologizing for being disabled.
It's not even just him. Where I'm annoyed is they want everybody to apologize. I'm like, well, why would people just in the vicinity be apologizing for stuff? This is where the victim Olympics and the sheer narcissism of leftists just goes into hyperdrive. And it's like, shut up, you preening, mewling quims. No one wants to hear this. It happened. We're all ready to move on. If you don't like it so bad, then I defy you to not listen to any rap music made between 1989 and whatever these mumbling morons say today.
All right. That is the definitive word. Apollo has spoken. Our first story for tonight is one that I think that Kevin might be interested in. Daredevil Born Again showrunner says first season was a Frankenstein. This by Trevor Denning.
Oh, Frankensteinian monster.
The creative team behind the Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again is gearing up for the release of Season 2 next month. And in the mission that may build some credibility with fans, showrunner Dario Scardapani says he feels that Season 1 came out as a cobbled-together Frankenstein, or Frankenstein. Describing the first season as a collection of incompatible ideas that lacked a singular vision suggests Season 2 will be a fresh start. Game Radar Plus reports that in Scardapane's interview with SFX magazine, he said Season 2 will be able to really let it rip in a way we might not have been able to last season. Daredevil Born Again was an important project for Disney Plus as it was the revival of the popular MCU series that ran on Netflix between 2015 and 2018. It featured the return of Charlie Cox as the blind superhero and much of the original cast, though none of the showrunners from the Netflix series were involved. Mr. S was brought after previous showrunners and head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman had already shot nearly half of the first season before the 2023 writers' strike. I didn't know this. Did you guys know this?
Yeah, I knew they had pretty much shot almost all of it, is what I had heard, and they just had to redo it.
Holy cow! That must have been. That would be scary. I would hate to come into a situation like that.
You were supposed to start off having and there's oh man, I can't believe Foggy died. Like, you weren't supposed to actually see it. It was just supposed to have happened already.
Was that just trying to not hire an actor for a scene?
Yes.
I'm glad Fulton Reed got a Disney payday out of it.
Marvel executives, including Kevin Feige, reportedly felt that the show wasn't working. At the time, The Hollywood Reporter said they were let go before Marvel had found a replacement. Moving the series to a new production company and bringing in an entirely new creative team may have compounded the risk of Daredevil becoming a Frankenstein patchwork of ideas. The task of Season 1 was a really kind of sick kind of fun. They'd gone in the direction where it was a different kind of show, Scarta Payne said of Ord and Corman's work. It was much more of a procedural, much more focused on the courtroom. It became Scarta Payne's task to salvage as much of the original footage as possible while grafting in new material that took Daredevil in a different direction.
It still sucked.
One of the major changes Scarta Payne made was filming the controversial opening which saw the death of Foggy Nelson. Originally, the inciting incident was planned to happen entirely off-screen. Some fans felt that killing off Matt Murdock's beloved sidekick was a misstep, which Scarta Payne hadn't directly acknowledged. Another addition attributed to the new showrunner was bringing back the Punisher, which will set the events of Season 2 in motion. By landing really strongly at the beginning and end with the idea of this is what the show wants to be, this is what the show is, we were able to kick the narrative into the second season relatively unfettered, Scarta Payne said. Admitting that the first season of Daredevil Born Again came out as some sort of Frankenstein can be read as an effort to contextualize the season's shortcomings while distancing himself from earlier creative decisions. The framing positions the season's tonal inconsistencies as the product of inherited decisions rather than a unified creative vision. Whether or not his comments and promise to really let it rip in Season 2 will win back the audience is an open question. Season 2 will premiere March 24th on Disney+, though it's unclear if it will be a weekly release or all the episodes will drop at once.
I think it'll be a weekly release like the last one was, but what I had heard about Daredevil Born Again before the changes were made, and so this is not official, it's just what I had heard through the grapevine, was that both Foggy and Karen were dead. And Matt is at his such a low point that he goes to Echo and asks Echo to kill him because he's Catholic, so he can't do it himself. And she refuses and spares him, and so he is born again, and he doesn't want to waste the what Echo has given him. It was all basically about Echo.
To the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work in the sin weight category? If you're not willing to off yourself, but you basically request that somebody murder you, that it seems like that would.
Some people think that it's a loophole. I don't think that God is going to see it that way.
Yeah, that seems to me like that's like you're commissioning a murder, right? That seems like they would be of equal weight. So, yeah. I don't know. I tried to watch Daredevil. I don't remember how many episodes I got in, but I know that there was a certain point where I think it was 3 or 4, I think, when I decided I can't watch this, and I wanted to like it, and I just couldn't get past all of the garbage in it.
There were 2 scenes in the entire season that I liked. There was that first scene where he's fighting Bullseye, the scene where Foggy ends up dying, and there was a scene with where both him and Fisk are having fights at the same time, and they kind of mirror each other a little bit. And I thought that was cool, but I don't know, man. Like that, it just wasn't good. It was all over the place. They had that weird, stupid episode where he's with Ms. Marvel's dad for the entire thing. Like it was just a bad show.
I didn't make it past the death of Bronze Tiger. We all
know where it's going with his plucky young niece who is,
I think that's where I dropped. I think that's actually where I dropped off and said, nope, I'm done. Do you buy that maybe the Season 1 issues were that it was just cobbled together, and do you have any hope for Season 2?
Yes, because it was a completed show that they had to reshoots. I mean, look, it was Captain America: Brave New World. It was Snow White. It was all of those. So maybe they could tell a more cohesive story with season 2. I personally don't see how this Mayor Fisk thing had the opportunity to be great, and they just turned it into another Trump allegory. They just turned it into more toxic masculinity. They turned it into bad cops, and
they had to de-Feige the show in order for it to be viable, because someone had a moment of clarity and said, this slop is going to be rejected pretty hard. And once you taint Daredevil, there's no going back for this character.
But I just want to be clear. You do have hope for season 2, though.
I don't.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get to.
Will it probably be better than the first? Yeah. But I have no real hope for anything that comes out from Marvel. They have not learned. They haven't learned any lessons. And I know, they've got the Sony execs running cover for them by saying, don't count Kevin Feige out. But Brothers had a big chunk of time, running the ship by himself. And, he's proven to be more incompetent than the bastard child of Kathleen Kennedy and Alex Kurtzman.
Ooh. That's something.
Who was babysat by Jennifer Salke.
Trish, I know that you are shockingly actually a fan of the Kingpin, so I'm kind of curious what your feeling on Daredevil season 1 was.
The only one I watched when they were on Netflix was Jessica Jones, so I can't really say outside of what I saw of the character on, what was it, The Defenders?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's a shame because if I remember right, the trailers for the first season all looked like, or I guess whatever season you want to call this most recent one, they looked good. I remember seeing them and they looked good. And then everyone was coming back and saying it's terrible. And it sounds like no one now thinks that the second season, like everyone had hope in spite of everything. And now they went and squandered that hope. And I feel like they really needed something that gave people hope things would be good, and they ruined it.
I did feel like what I saw of season 1 at least was shot well. Cinematically, it looked good, but the content was just garbage.
He's not Daredevil for the majority of the show. He's Daredevil in the first scene, and then he's not Daredevil again until almost 2/3 of the way through it, I believe. So there's very little actual Daredevil in the Daredevil show. And then they have the moment where Bullseye escapes from prison, and he gets the thing and you see that he's not cuffed anymore. And I'm like, oh, here we go. This is gonna be a big Bullseye action sequence where he's gonna be making pens into projectiles and killing people with paper clips and making his way out. Nope, you don't see it. He escapes off camera.
Too expensive.
Yep. God forbid we do anything cool.
I still remember being excited about Marvel stuff and it being Justified.
Justified's a whole other show. Much better.
But now it's just, I don't know. I don't even get angry. It's just sad. Because I had such fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lorn, are we going to... Did you pull the Wonder Man article for tonight? Because I don't want to get ahead of it.
I don't think I did. Go nuts.
So
go with
it. Just bring it up then.
The Black Wonder Man?
So the Wonder Man numbers came out, and they dropped all 8 episodes at once. And it got beaten by the first 2 or 3 episodes of Daredevil. It got beaten by Echo. It got beaten by everything with 8 episodes out. And because we're talking total minutes watched, it got beaten by Ironheart, which came out with 3 episodes. It got destroyed. And here is the kicker about this, guys. Wonder Man was good. I watched all 8 episodes and I'm like, this show should not be good, but it's good. Even critical YouTubers who I respect tremendously, plus Beardo, all actually liked this show.
Plus Beardo.
when you spend enough time as a restaurant serving cat turds to your clientele, they're going to be suspicious of your filet mignon.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. So this show is good. Nobody watched it because the apathy has set in. Now, is it a good superhero show? No, it's not a superhero show. It was just a good show about an actor and what the Hollywood system is like in this universe. It was compelling. Ben Kingsley acts his butt off in it. And honestly, there's a moment where a thing that I hate comes back. And I actually geeked out for it because it was so well done. So
Wow.
if you guys don't care about spoilers, I'll just tell you.
Hit it.
I mean,
So there's
something no one's watching.
So Simon has to hide that he has powers because there's a rule in Hollywood that superpowered people cannot be hired for anything. Because one superpower guy basically killed Josh Gad. So Simon,
seems like they'd have parades for that.
Yeah, I know. Simon's powers go haywire on the set, and he ends up causing a massive explosion. And so Damage Control thinks it's him, and so they're going to go get him. And then Trevor, who he had just had this big argument with, because Trevor was basically selling him out the Damage Control, calls him, and he's just like, "Don't worry, mate. I've got it. Don't worry. You don't worry." And so they're like, "Wait a minute, what happened?" And then the newscast is like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we just received this video. You might find it disturbing." And then all of a sudden it's, "America, did you miss me?" And he does this whole Mandarin video about how he did it. And he's been the Mandarin this whole time. And he takes the fall for him. And I was like, I hate this Mandarin thing, but this is really cool. This was really good.
Well, good. I'm glad it was a good show, but
yeah, if you look it up on YouTube, it's like Mandarin Return in Wonder Man. You can see the video. It's actually really well done. He's just he's talking about the Soviet Union, launched a new form of warfare, the attack on men's minds, which is why the government has worked hand in hand with the Hollywood Indoctrination Center for years. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is actually awesome. So, and then he ends up going to jail for Simon.
We do have to get some super chats, or it looks like a bunch of new members. We've got Bad News Badger becoming a YouTube member.
Nice.
We've got Alan Jin becoming a brand new member. Hey. We've got John Wayne 1985 becoming a new member. We've got, I don't know if I could say that. Let's say the real person.
Boba Fett Starship.
There you go. Becoming a new member. We got G. Brown becoming a new member. And Grace becoming a new member. That's a lot of new memberships. Welcome to the...
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Glad you all joined. I'm sorry I don't know what membership level that you guys joined at, but welcome to the party. Glad to have you here. Hope you'll be joining us weekly. Our next story is kind of a long one, so I'm not going to read all of it, but I like the concept of it, and I wanted to discuss each of the points on it. And this was regarding Greg Owen breaks down the 7 deadly sins of millennial writing, and this is by Jessica Lindstrom at Geeks and Gamers, always writes great stuff. Says, the current era of Hollywood has brought film and television media that we wish could be erased from our memories, and not just for utter desecrations of beloved IPs, but the big elephant in the room, the writing. Writers nowadays seem to be inexperienced in the sense of not having been through any sort of hardship that makes one more humble, for example. So the tone or overarching themes of stories tend to lack depth. That being said, in his latest video, Greg Owens breaks down the 7 deadly sins of millennial writing. If you'd like to check out the video, that's what it is, if you guys want to look it up on YouTube. But they did number each of these, sin number 7 being irony and meta-awareness. Now, like I said, I'm not going to read all of this, but I did want to discuss it. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's 100%.
All right. So
irony and meta-awareness is 100% the cardinal sin. This is an entire generation of people who grew up watching Joss Whedon, and none of them can write like Joss Whedon, but they all try. And some of them have never even seen Joss Whedon. Some of them just think that they did, or have heard about Joss Whedon.
Well, what the big difference is that we have hit a point where life experience isn't necessary. You're getting people writing for TV based off of what they've seen on TV. They don't read books anymore. They don't go and experience life. It's just, hey, this TV show did it. So now we're getting the copy of a copy of a copy.
And the thing was, when this started, you're absolutely right to call out Joss Whedon. When he began doing that, it was fresh and it was clever. But now everything has to be quippy. Everything has to undercut the gravitas of a scene. Nobody remembers how to be serious. It's become tedious.
And Marvel's like that because of Joss. Not that I'm placing blame, but he introduced that to the MCU and they ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man was a little quippy, but that was just Tony. Once we got to the Avengers, everyone was cracking wise.
Mm-hmm.
And, we kept it going after that.
Next sin, audience hostility disguised as cleverness.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say it's particularly clever.
Yeah.
It is we hate our customers and we are going to make it known. And this is basically, this is not a television show. This is our therapy session to talk about how much we don't like you, but you're required to watch it and give us money.
I will attribute this to the gross over-feminization of society, where toxic empathy has now made it so that you cannot give any viable feedback. And if you dare give feedback, you are the villain of the story.
Frisch?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think it's clever. I'm actually a very empathetic person, but toxic empathy is very, toxic, honestly. I mean, it's the perfect thing to call it. And we're just living in a time where, you can't even give valid, gentle, constructive criticism without them lashing out at you. And so the second anyone says they don't like or just maybe didn't quite enjoy an aspect of something, they do this stuff. And I think they've started just trying to head it off at the pass almost. Now they're like, well, we're just going to say these things about you because we know you're not going to like our stuff anyway, and we know you're wrong.
It stopped becoming about making content for the audience, and it started becoming making content in spite of the audience. It is these writers and actors and directors creating content for themselves and their little Hollywood circles, to please each other. And then you, the plebs, are required to view them or pay for them or whatever, because I mean, it's their right to be famous. It is their right to be rich. It is because it was their dream, and God help you if you try to step on their dream.
Myopic fart bubble.
Sin number 5. Everyone sounds the same.
They all sound like the writer.
Revealing the authorial voice. Yep.
No, so I last year I taught a class on character development for aspiring writers, and the one thing that I said to them is, if you want to be able to write varied characters, you have to meet varied people. You have to go out there and you have to talk to people who are not like you. You have to ask them questions. You have to learn about their lived experience. You have to examine the way they speak, because otherwise you're just writing yourself over and over again. And I promise you, you are not that interesting.
They took write what you know to heart.
Everything's a self-insert. You look at The Acolyte was all self-inserts. Velma was everything Mindy Kaling writes is a self-insert.
Oh God, everything Mindy Kaling writes is a self-insert.
Yeah.
I almost argue that this is very similar to sin number 7. Go ahead.
No, this comes from the my child is the most perfect, wonderful child who's ever childed, and they are the very best at everything, and they've never been bullied a day in their life, and they are the most wonderful human being to ever exist, and so every character should be like them because they are the bestest ever.
Well, yeah, inside of the myopic fart bubble, because they only hang out with each other. Mm-hmm. They espouse the same talking points. They have the same ideologies. They read the same articles. They only talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Quentin Tarantino writes spectacular dialogue, mostly because he worked in a video store, which means he met a lot of people, but also too, any movie made probably, I would say, before 98 has people speaking the way people spoke. One of my favorite things to talk about is making Sarah watch Dirty Harry for the first time. And her head almost exploded off of her body when Callahan meets his new Hispanic partner, and they have the dialogue exchange. I'm like, this is how people spoke. This is how cops spoke. I lived around a lot of them, and they all spoke like this to each other. When you do not meet authentic people who are being their authentic selves, you miss out on a lot. You miss out on a lot. Also, too, like I was like, because I was watching a practice, and I listened to a coach be like, guys, this just is about paying your best and doing the best that you can do, because trying is what matters. And I was like, what in the soy boy hell is this? My coaches used to say horrific things to me. More vulgarity and slurs than a person could shake a stick at. And it made me a proud man. Because if you were able to get your coach to smile at you while in between finding new ways to insinuate that you are less than a man, that means you actually achieved something. Now it's all hugs and kisses and just...
Well, it's funny.
Not only is nobody willing to step outside their bubble, they are actually telling you that you're not allowed to step outside your bubble. If you are a white man, you cannot write a female story. You cannot write a black story. You can't write any kind of story other than exactly what you are. And the one quote that I gave to the students who took my class, it's a quote by Tarantino. As a writer, I demand the right to write any character in the world that I want to write. I demand the right to be them. I demand the right to think them. And I demand the right to tell the truth as I see they are. Because Tarantino has been given a lot of crap by these activists who think that he shouldn't be able to write black characters or use the language that he uses in his movies. And he said, absolutely not.
Meanwhile, sorry, Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino gave you one of the most dynamic, prolific black characters in history in the form of Django.
Mm-hmm.
Sin number 4, modernism.
Oh.
Modernism's everywhere.
Yep.
Modern vernacular. On top of it being absurdly... a lot of this comes from just gross infantilization. But also the fact that these kids can't string 3 words together in a sentence to form something that vaguely resembles a coherent thought. So now we have to listen to their gobbledygook and pretend like it's not mind-numbing brain cancer inducing.
Well, and also, if you're trying to write something that's timeless, grounding it in slang and vernacular of a specific time is absolutely ridiculous. That's why Star Trek didn't fall into that trap back in the day. That's why, like, on the original series, they weren't calling everybody Daddy-O and stuff like that. But you watch Starfleet Academy, and it's all modern vernacular.
Well, because they don't read. They don't read, and they can't have adult conversations. They just can't. So they write like how they speak, and they understand format. And listen, I'm so happy that I went to Catholic school, and had to endure the volatility of nuns, because yes, I say things like aunt because that is the bloody word. The formality in language exists for a reason. And you need to be able to, one, conduct yourself like a professional, two, just, if you want to sound smart, be smart. The best thing, the fastest way to know that someone is stupid is to watch a stupid person pretend that they're smart. And that is what we get from Alex Kurtzman every time he puts pen to paper.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sin number 3. This is one of my favorites. Identity as a shortcut to character.
Yep. It's a gay character. Being gay is your entire personality.
What is the name of the fish boy from Starfleet Academy?
Which one?
The fish boy with the British accent for some
I
reason.
just call him toxic white male fish boy.
So toxic white male fish boy, right? What is his character? His character is that he engages in gay promiscuity, although he's supposed to like everybody. Somehow, we're supposed to know that he has daddy issues. Being a he-ho who also happens to be gay is not character development. It's just not.
He was there to be toxic and white, and their form of evolution and character development for him was capitulate to all women and be gay. That was how they softened him as a character.
Sin number 2. Therapy language replaces morality.
Oh, this therapy. Look, therapy can be a great thing for people. Stop talking about it. Keep it with the therapist. Like, is AJ Lee that goes out there on wrestling shows down there therapy chants? Like, stop it.
I can listen. No, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'll get us all in trouble.
I think this is actually the biggest sin that Disney falls into. This is why they do not allow any villains to actually be villains. They have to have complicated paths that explain why they've gone down the wrong path, and they must be redeemable. And in fact, the heroes have to be bad for attempting to slap some sense into them.
I highly recommend just go dig out an old tape and listen to Dennis Leary's No Cure for Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And understand why this is all a bunch of nonsense and everybody needs to shut up.
Look, at the end of the day, villains don't have to be morally gray. They just have to think they're right. That's it.
Listen,
The villainous motivation is not, I think I'm a good person. It's just, I think I'm right.
Magneto is a great example of that.
Yes. Well, and I always point out, Magneto, when Magneto first started, was just a hyper-violent supremacist. That's it. That's it. He just wanted to rule the world and was like, mutants are going to kill all these humans. And then he got turned into a baby. And then Chris Claremont was like, listen, man, we got something here, but I think I can make him a little more interesting so that we can stretch out this story. And the irony of it is that although Magneto, it's the thing that makes Magneto so fascinating is that Magneto, it can be correct, but he goes about being correct the wrong way. Same thing with Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom and Lex Luthor are creatures of hubris. They could be forces for good, but they cannot get out of their own way. They are cautionary tales about narcissism and a lack of perspective. The Joker is evil for the sake of being evil. He's a creature of chaos. I don't want the Joker sitting around in group therapy, making little, flower origami and trying to get in touch with his sensitive side.
You're going to get me into a sidetrack about the Telltale Batman series, because that's actually where you find him, and Batman sort of influences him into becoming the Joker inadvertently. It was an interesting take. It's not my favorite, but it was interesting. You played that, didn't you, Marvin?
Yes, I did. And you're absolutely right. But like when I saw the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, I actually didn't like the fact that I'm like, I don't want to know that his mother was abusive. I don't want to know that he went through all this stuff. Like, I don't want to know that Mad Eye Moody had his way with him in a bathroom in the second movie. Like, I don't want to know any of this. Like, he's just evil for the sake of it. Like, he is evil incarnate. That's the point of him. I don't need to know more than that. And the fact that you don't know his motivations makes him scarier. So no, not everyone has to have this, like, I'm really a good person deep down inside. No. Like it character flaws can be what, and yes, I get it. The idea is evil is not born, it's made. Nobody wants the mustache twirling, evil for evil's sake, Maleficent type character. But at the end of the day, they just have to think they're right.
I don't know. I kind of want that. I kind of want that now at this point, because at least it'd feel different.
It would feel different.
Just give me the mustache twirler at this point.
You're right.
Sin number 1. Subversion without reconstruction. This is a really insightful point. Because that's all they're doing today. They're deconstructing the hero and then trying to transfer the mantle to somebody that they think is better.
Mm-hmm. And it's always a self-insert. They don't
And
respect the work that came before. Some of it is because they can't attain the heights of what came before, so they have to tear it down. So in order to tear it down, you've got to tear it down from the inside, and then as soon as it's broken, you replace it.
now, arguably, the argument could be made that part of the reason that they're doing this is they give you the public reason, which is the deconstruction and the transfer. But the actual reason may be because they know that the copyrights on all of these characters is about to expire and they need to transfer it to something different that they can control.
Mhm.
And if that just so happens to be their version of what they think is the heroic hero, so much the better. I think the question is, which is the primary motivator?
I mean, I think the greatest example of this subversion without reconstruction phenomenon is The Last Jedi, where we deconstructed oh, you thought that this girl was special, that she was like some kind of chosen one? Nope, she's nobody. And then JJ undid that. Oh, you thought Snoke was this big reveal? Nope, he's just gonna go out, like a chump. It was all just nonsense.
It's kind of interesting when you consider that actually the movies, they were kind of the Seinfeld Star Wars movies because all of the main characters were nobodies, technically. Rey's a nobody. Finn ends up being a nobody. Poe was a nobody who wasn't supposed to survive but did. Snoke was a nobody. The only real main character, Luke became a nobody. The only real main character, I hate to say it, is Palpatine.
Well, because it's also rooted in cynicism too, though. Nothing is allowed to exist that is wholesome or that is just naturally heroic. If it exists, for the sake of existing, and it's just doing something nice, it's got to be torn down. It's got to be tainted. It's got to be perverted. And again, it comes from a very specific myopic world view. We're not allowed to have nice things.
Yeah, I think you're right. We got some super chats to get to. We have some more gifted memberships. This is one gifted membership from Liquid Fox. And then we have another gifted membership from Liquid Fox. Thank you, Liquid Fox. That is very generous. If you happen to receive a gifted membership from Liquid Fox, make sure that you buy him a coffee or something, pat him on the back, and give him a firm handshake and a hug. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
He needs it right now after what the Canadian hockey team just did.
Poke the bear. We have from
the bald eagle landing on top of the Canadian flag post.
We have from Solstice Studios. He's gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships, and thank you for that as well. Guys, I don't know if you were watching the Pro Show earlier today. Did you see how many gifted memberships were given during the Pro Show this morning?
No, I had to leave early.
394.
What?
Holy cow.
They went on a gigantic gifting spree, and I feel like this is an extension of that. So it's really awesome. Thank you, guys. We really do appreciate all of that. Dr. Richard James for 5. The progressive liberal left wokesters believe that if you say and repeat something enough, it becomes historic universal truth. I don't know if they believe that, but I think that they think by controlling the means of putting the information out there, that eventually it will replace all of the existing written or recorded information and thus become the historical record. So it may not be that they believe it, but that they think they can force it into becoming reality. And I think that's what a lot of this pushback is about. Anybody else?
I would agree with that.
Trish, you like to weigh in on world affairs?
I agree. I'm about it or I'm against it, whichever one I'm supposed to be.
Way to set your flag down. That's fantastic. Did you even hear the question I asked?
No, I was reading the chat when you asked.
Perfect. Retromeister for 2. Marv, could you mention to Trish my Scream super chat?
Yes, he said, I believe that Scream 7 will make up for the previous mistakes of the previous 2 films with retconning Wes Craven's lore with fan fiction.
I mean, I hope so. It kind of this weird fracture where we have a bunch of people that I think might have found the franchise in the 5th and or 6th movie. And so they are looking at everything through the lens of the people who are now no longer in the franchise. And most people are like, who cares? This is about Sidney Prescott and Ghostface's relationships usually in ties to her. So I don't know. I kind of wish we could erase that aspect of everything. I would gladly do without movies 5 and 6, which aren't that bad. I don't think there's actually a bad Scream movie, but I would gladly do without those movies to not hear those people.
I don't know what to make of this next super chat. I don't know if it is a reference or what it is. This is obviously supposed to be done in some kind of voice. Does this mean anything to you guys?
Hater, I tell you what, root around them there narratives to find me a gem, waha.
What does it mean?
I don't
I don't understand that
No
reference.
one knows. It's a lost dialect, Lorn.
All right, it's good. I was a little
We've
worried
not
that I
found
was.
yet the Rosetta Stone.
It could be Wisconsin. It could be Canadian.
Snark always surprises me. That's one of the delights of running the show is that you never quite know what you're going to get there. Also,
Is Regina in the chat? Because usually Regina knows.
I haven't seen her if she is. We've got Liquid Fox for another 5 Canadian. Congratulations to USA. Only 6 more gold medals in hockey to tie Canada for most overall, 4 to tie Russia. That's right. You're behind the commies.
Yeah, you mentioned
Lol.
Canada. Because Canada's commies.
We got it.
I sense a little salt. We got there's a few more stories that we can do. We got a bunch of movies to get to. I think we can maybe fit one more story if we go fast. Marvin, pick what you would want. I've got another story on the Paramount Skydance thing. I know you're probably sick of talking about that. We got the Katie Sackhoff thing, and we've got the Hollywood in Trouble, more domestic box office.
Do you have the
stuff
Katie
being-
Sackhoff thing from that Park Place or from Geeks and Gamers?
From that Park Place. Or I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
do
no,
that.
this is the Geeks and Gamers one.
Okay, do that Park Place version of it because I took a different
okay,
angle.
All right, let me go get it. I
It should
didn't
be
have
one of
that
the
one
top.
prepared.
It should be one of the top stories.
Yeah, it is the very top one. Okay. Let me get it up here. Katie Sackhoff says Bo-Katan has job security forever because she's based on Dave Filoni's wife. And let me tell you, if you've seen Dave Filoni's wife, Katie Sackhoff is not based on her.
She said that Bo-Katan's was not based
Name?
off her appearance; it was based off Dave Filoni's wife's appearance. And I'm like, no, she wasn't. She looks like you, Katie. She does not look like Dave Filoni's wife.
Actress Katie Sackhoff is once again fueling debate around the future of Star Wars, and this time her comments are putting renewed attention on Lucasfilm. Co-head Dave Filoni's wife, Anne Convery, in the creative direction of Lucasfilm. Trish, I know you're going to want to weigh in on this one.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Speaking at Fan Expo Vancouver, Sackhoff assured fans that Bo-Katan Kryze is far from finished in the galaxy far, far away. But it was her reasoning that raised eyebrows. She's not dead, Sackhoff said. She ain't going anywhere. She then added another comment that many fans are now dissecting closely. She can't, because she's based off Dave Filoni's wife, so I have job security forever. Anne Convery would be so pissed. The remark, delivered partly in jest, has nevertheless reignited long-running fan speculation about Filoni's personal influence on the franchise's creative choices. This isn't the first time the connection has been acknowledged. Sackhoff previously explained the name Bo-Katan itself was derived from Dave Filoni's wife, Anne Convery, combined with the name of her cat, Boogie.
I'm sorry. I hate this character now that I know that her name is Bo-Cat Ann.
Honestly, she's not a really likable character anyway, you know?
I was ambivalent before. I hate this character now.
She also noted that the character's appearance was modeled after Convery rather than Sackhoff herself. I am dubious. Those details are well established within Star Wars production lore. However, Sackhoff's new job security forever comment is what has reignited online chatter.
Because because there's been a lot of chatter with the direction Star Wars has been taken, that Dave Filoni's wife is a huge influence on where this all is going. So
don't doubt that for a minute. That part I absolutely believe. Sackhoff's remarks arrive at a time when some corners of the fandom have already been questioning the increasing prominence of mystical and witch-adjacent elements in modern Star Wars storytelling and how that connects to Filoni's home life. That's a good line. As previously noted in that Park Place reporting, it has been pointed out by many that Filoni's wife, Anne Convery, once listed her pronouns on social media as she, her, that witch. She also posted photos of herself drinking from a mug that featured pentagrams, along with a slew of other media that shows her in witch hats or otherwise celebrating fictional witches. So it's altogether possible, though not confirmed, that this push toward witches in Star Wars is coming directly from the Filoni family.
Yeah, her by the way, I checked her Instagram today. It's now she, her, they, them.
To be clear, there's no official confirmation that Convery has any creative authority at Lucasfilm. I think she does actually work for Lucasfilm, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, but he's the chief creative officer. I think she does like some work for them, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay. But Sackhoff's own comments tying Bo-Katan directly to Dave Filoni's wife have added fresh fuel to an already active online debate. Regardless of the surrounding discourse, Sackhoff made one thing clear. Bo-Katan's story is not finished. With The Mandalorian Season 4 currently on hold pending The Mandalorian and Grogu, the exact timing of her return remains unknown. However, given the character's central role in rebuilding Mandalore, her eventual reappearance seems likely. And if Sackhoff is right, joking or not, Bo-Katan may indeed have the kind of longevity in Star Wars that few characters enjoy, particularly when she's based off the studio head's wife. Whether fans view that as reassuring or concerning is another question entirely. So, do we think that this is a roundabout confirmation that she's in The Mandalorian and Grogu? Because I think the scuttlebutt is Season 4 is probably not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we just haven't seen the last of her. I think that if they do the I think that if they end up doing the Heir to the Empire movie, she'll be in that.
I feel like that's a long shot.
I mean, then again, I don't know why she's so hell-bent on playing this character again when it apparently broke her as an actress the last time she did it.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me out of this as well, because she has said that she didn't understand her character in Season 3. And that actually is a logical statement, because Bo-Katan basically regressed. It's like she had already learned the lesson that she was not the right leader for Mandalore. And now suddenly she's obsessed with being the leader of Mandalore again. She is the wrong, for lack of a better word, king. She is not the one who is supposed to restore the Mandalorians. She was a dyed-in-the-wool Death Watch proponent, and you need a uniter who can unite the clans.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Trish?
Good.
Oh, yeah, totally. Unite those clans. All for the unification.
Kevin.
Unity. I'm sorry. You said they, them, and I
know you
shut down.
Yeah, I couldn't. I just could. There's only but so much of that. I actually saw one of those pop up on my LinkedIn and almost unsubscribed from LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a little bit of playful joshing, but no, she's not done because he's gonna find a way to jam her into something, even if they don't continue with Mandalorian. We've still got a whole bunch of Filoni baloney to suffer through.
I don't know. I feel like I still feel like they're doing an A/B test between the Mandalorian and Grogu and Starfighter, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that how those perform are going to have a lot to determine what happens with Star Wars going forward. I'm not against Bo-Katan as a character, but she is a flawed character. I don't think that she should be viewed as the restorer of the Mandalorian. And I do want to be clear, Anne Convery is not the one who created the idea of witches in Star Wars. That actually came out of Dave Wolverton's The Courtship of Princess Leia. And I don't have an objection to witches in Star Wars, because I think in some places they've been handled very well. I think they were fine in the Clone Wars. I think they were. I like Merrin an awful lot out of the Jedi games. I think there's a lot of rich stuff that you can do with the Night Sisters. I think the real problem was because you've started having additional witch types pop up all over the place, which is like, this doesn't really make sense. It's like you already have a Force tradition that is embodying sorceress, alchemist kind of position. That is pretty solidly in the witches camp. And then you've got some others like the Angti monks or the Falanasi flowwalkers. They all have different traditions that are embodying something more akin to, say, psionics or time flow manipulators, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. And so you have these different kind of Force traditions that all kind of stake out their claim. And what they sort of tried to make the witches that they introduced in the Acolyte sound like they were like the progenitors, like the Peridian witches were actually the I guess you would call them the mother coven of the Night Sisters that ended up on Dathomir. But part of the reason I think that irritates the fan base is that you're once again sort of stealing the legacy of something that predated it, that already existed. You're trying to claim, no, they're not the real witches. We're the real witches and they're the offshoot. It's like, I think it would be fine if you did it the other way around. If it turned out that the Night Sisters went and settled Peridia, that works better.
Just like Mary, Kate, and Oshley were the the perennial chosen ones. It was not, Anakin was not the first immaculate Force birth. It was them. It was these two girls.
Well, I think that's really where a lot of the fan upset comes from, is that it's not necessarily the concept itself. It's that it comes again down to a disrespect for what came before. You are essentially capturing something that somebody else did and passing off your version as the official version that you're also trying to pass off as better. And for the folks that know where the stuff came from, that's patently offensive, and it feels a little bit like you're copying somebody's homework,
Imagine, I wanted to write the Lord of the Rings that came before even the Rings of Power, and it's about a female Dark Lord who created an even better ring that also united all of the rings, but because it cheapens what Sauron will eventually do.
I see Trish is losing patience with our conversation, so we'd probably...
No, I'm not losing patience. I'm just sitting here. Donovan was like, I want to see your face. I'm like, this is my face right now.
It's fine. We've killed enough time, and we should get to our movies. So we're going to start off with Trish tonight. Your first one, Paradise Lost.
So this is actually a documentary. It's not like it's a fictional movie. It had 2 follow-up movies. It's true crime stuff. It's dark, so I won't get into it. But it was on HBO. It wasn't in the movie. Well, I think it did go in the movie theaters, and I believe Metallica did music for the movie. I feel like it's a really complicated story. I don't know. Kevin was nodding his head, so I'm guessing you've seen this, Kevin.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember seeing it. I don't think I've seen this since '96, in all honesty.
I mean, it's been a long time for me. I don't think it was 96, but it's been a long time for me. I'll put it this way. If you have any kind of inclination towards true crime stuff and you haven't seen it, watch it. It's just, know that it's long, because I think the first one is like over 2 hours, and then there's another 2 that are probably around the same length, so you're getting into a lot if you want to follow it all the way through. The Craft. See, this is my Trish was a teenage girl in the 90s pick.
Speaking of witches,
this is the movie that taught young men to love goth mommies.
It started a long spiral for young Marv.
Did it really?
Oh, I dated exclusively the goths for a while.
Because of The Craft?
Because of The Craft.
This is fascinating.
This would have been a much more amusing story if you were accidentally dating Visigoths.
It was between this and Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice.
You were done for.
As a young lad, that was all I needed.
Well, it's this little coven. One girl is new, and she is the 4th that they need, and they start practicing the craft, if you will, and they each kind of do spells for something, but it's a little bit of a monkey's paw situation because they don't really understand the power behind everything. So everything they wish for kind of gets amplified and goes wrong, and hijinks, so to speak, ensue. But it's another one of those, because I was watching it recently and I was like, it felt so wonderfully late 90s. And part of me, I don't want to put this out into the universe. Part of me is amazed they haven't tried to remake this, but I feel like
they did.
I thought they were
They did?
going to either remake or sequel this a while ago. I thought there were plans for it, and then it never got.
Shut up, seriously?
There were plans for it. There was rumored casting, and then it fell off the map.
Could you imagine modern writers trying to write this movie? How bad it would be.
According to LK8181, he's saying the remake is not good. So did they already remake?
Did the remake happen?
I didn't even know there was one, so I can't answer that. Let's just pretend.
Oh my gosh. The Craft Legacy released on October 28th, 2020. It's a Blumhouse supernatural horror film that serves as a modern legacy sequel or soft reboot to the 1996 cult classic. It happened.
I think that I count that more as like a direct to video sequel that has nothing to do with the first one, but someone needed to use this to keep the rights.
It's got 2.5 out of 5 stars on IMDb, and Rotten Tomatoes 47% from critics and 24% from audiences. So you can imagine how well this went over. Even the shills didn't like it. And
this is also another one of my Trish likes classic-y things. Mm-hmm. So
I just want to endorse this comment.
The other thing is, what's very funny is this movie has Neve Campbell and Skeet Ulrich in it. Much like another movie that will probably be coming up on my list later. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, wow, they were just paired together in 1996, huh?
And your next one is?
Okay. I don't know if this is another one of those Trish was a teenage girl in the late 90s things, but this was a moment when it came out.
So I'll tell you, Trish, I had this on my list too, but because it's so terrible.
So I mean, can I tell you my story about this movie?
I love it. Okay. I wasn't expecting you guys to have anything to say about this, but okay, go ahead.
I got some bitterness I need to get out about this.
I sense a dating story coming.
There is a dating story for this. I was dating this really hot chick who I was totally into, and she had me wrapped around her little finger, and she was telling me that she wanted to go on this date, and she wanted to go see this movie, and she had me take her out to a really expensive dinner, and then I was going to take her to the movie, and we parked in the parking lot. As we're walking towards the theater, she said, "Oh, by the way, I wanted you to know that I've started dating another guy, and I think you should take me home." So I had to take her home brokenhearted, and I felt that way for quite some time. So screw you, Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie.
Yeah, I dig it. I bought.
Oh dear, apothecary, thy drugs are quick.
I bought this soundtrack for 30 seconds of music.
The soundtrack, I really like the soundtrack. Again, I'm very consistent.
Well, I mean, this movie to me is like, if you want to see a bunch of teenagers scream Shakespeare's worst play at each other in the middle of a Miami setting, they scream these lines at each other.
You guys are not watching this movie the right way. You're getting all mad. Just laugh at it.
It's terrible. It was on my list because it's so terrible. Like it was so much because I hate this play. I hate this play, and this made such a mockery of it that I was entertained by it. Because Romeo and Juliet is the single worst love story that has ever existed.
Wow, there was oomph behind that. But go ahead.
Even as a teenager, I was like, wait, this is a love story? This is some creep who's infatuated with a girl that he just met, and some stupid girl who's never been outside of her house, who is just in love with the fact that a guy, wants her, and then they die at the end because they're dumb.
It's a prequel to 90 Day Fiance.
You're basically you're talking about episode 3, Marvin.
No.
Kevin, what were you gonna say?
I said that when this movie came out, my English teacher was so annoyed by it that we went off and watched the classic version of Romeo and Juliet, and then forgot about the
boobs.
Yeah, well, not so much that, but the 70s carpeting. And when it pops up, he would, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Don't tell your parents.
In this movie, when Black Mercutio goes, a plague of both your houses, and then the waves are like crashing. I'm just like, this is the worst thing ever made.
Magic wand.
Yeah.
In our high school reading of this play, Mercutio was the person that I played, so that makes me even happier.
You know, you guys all laugh. Look at all the chatting you did about Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
It was just one. It was one of two. Like between this and another movie that came out this year, I had to hear every girl in my class talking about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, stop being jealous of teenage you stop being jealous of Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean, he's still dating people that were the age of the girls in my class. So
anyway, so Fargo. I feel like if you know Coen Brothers movies, then you should be like, it's a Coen Brothers movie. Oh, okay, then it explains Fargo. This movie is why I go around being like, oh yeah, you betcha. Things. Frances McDormand, is that her name? I'm terrible with actors.
It is.
Yeah, she's tremendous in this. And it carries on the tradition of the different various ways Steve Buscemi can die in their movies. They made a TV show, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's any good. I heard it's good, but I don't know if it actually is like something I would like. But I liked the movie. I mean, I don't know. Again, I never know if you guys, well, Kevin, I feel a little bit more confident has seen this stuff, but I never know if Marv and Lorn have seen my picks or not.
I've not seen this one.
How did I know? What do you think, Kevin?
I love this movie.
I tend not to be a Coen Brothers fan, but they have done 2 movies that I like. And so I would actually be willing to give this a shot because I think that maybe my position on them is softening a little bit.
Oh, genre guys?
Maybe. Something to think about. Trish,
Yes.
you know what the next one is.
Yes. Woohoo! Trish's favorite movie. Yes. This is like literally, I said to Lorn, I sent him a message and I said, I'm claiming Scream before anybody else sends in their list because I figure Marv will try to take it from me.
You know what? I was going to, but I knew you had it on your list.
See, I knew he was going to try. I was like, no, I'm on to you, Marv. I'm not letting you do it.
I was going to take this, and my entire thing was going to be like, so this movie came out this year. I've never seen it, but I hear it's all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this before, so I can't really say anything that I probably never said before, but this movie helped revitalize horror in the late 90s. It set the template, for better or for worse, for a lot of the teen-based horror movies that came after. It's like, again, it's why I always say if someone goes back and sees it and they've seen more modern ones, I'm like, okay, Scream was the one that did it first. It was unique, and everything else is just aping off of it. That can kind of get lost with people who see them kind of quote-unquote out of order, so to speak. Yeah, I love this movie. It's hard to talk about movies where there's a mystery element because you don't want to give anything away for people who haven't seen it. But it is a movie where once you know, it's still good. Like, you could still watch it and get a ton from it. It is infinitely quotable for me. It's to the point where, and I was saying this to Martin and Nolan, because Nolan used an episode of Lost Guys to watch this. I was like, this isn't exactly Lost Media, Nolan. He's like, whatever, I want to do it. And I said, I'm at the point with this movie where I laugh because I know something's like coming up, a line or something, and I'm already giggling to myself, and then like just saying it with the movie, like it's that level for me. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
If anyone
Jennifer Love
else
Hewitt doesn't
that's
get
not
the
Marv wants to say anything,
Jennifer Love Hewitt doesn't get top billing on the poster.
Jennifer Love Hewitt isn't in Scream.
No,
I thought she was.
that's the
No.
other
That's-
other teen horror movie from this era.
Was it I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, that's it for Trisha's picks. She had kind of a short list, but Kevin is more than making up for it. We may want to go a little bit faster through these. But Kevin, your first one is Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. I think we've talked about Primal Fear on this show before. This is a fascinating movie. The long and short of it is Richard Gere plays a hotshot TV lawyer who takes on a very controversial case, and Edward Norton is the victim, who you later find he's pretending that he has a multiple personality disorder. When he gets to the end of the movie, and he essentially gets away with it. He reveals that I knew what I was doing the whole time, and Richard Gere has to eat some crow and realize that he helped a murderer get away with murder. There is something special about John Travolta as a villain, and how he longs in it. And it had Rob Zombie.
He's better as a villain than he is a hero.
Actually, White Zombie. The trailer for this was White Zombie. So it made it more awesome than it probably actually was. But we're gonna steal some nukes, and there's a timer, and John Travolta is chewing on the scenery, and Christian Slater sounds like Jack Nicholson.
This is a movie that I never saw, but like I remember seeing it in Blockbuster every single time I was in there.
Yes, because when it hit videos, there was 500 copies. There was walls of Broken Arrow for some reason.
It was actually a huge movie at the time, and it's okay. I remember going to see it in the theater, and it was fine. I always conflate this movie with Face Off because they were coming. This was right in the middle of John Travolta's revival, and they're kind of the same kind of caliber movies, really. It's like Face Off is the better of the two, just because you're combining John Travolta with Nick Cage being John Travolta, which is hard to top.
Face Off is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a good movie, and if you like it, I think you might like this, but it's not going to be of the same caliber as Face Off.
If you love Face Off, I highly recommend listening to Patrice O'Neill and Jim Norton discuss Face Off.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Daylight. So this is not one of Sly's best movies. It's interesting, though. They get trapped in a tunnel and blah, 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 blah. This was originally supposed to be a sequel to Cliffhanger, and it got changed at the last second, I think, because of a weird rights issue. But they get trapped in the ground, and the tunnel's flooding, and they got to escape. And Stallone, of course, is I think he is a forced retired MTA officer or something like that, and of course he rescues everybody. It's your standard disaster horror thriller movie, whatever.
I love you for this next pick.
I was afraid someone was not going to pick this, so I made sure I put it on my list. Losers always whine about doing their best. This movie has so many wonderful things to quote in it. Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery just being James Bond, and Nicolas Cage just being Nicolas Cage, and Michael Biehn does his best Sean Bean impression and gets killed in the movie. And there's just so much glorious slow motion and melodramatic music. And this is just Michael Bay at his I Love America at best. and you get this.
Had an amazing trailer. This is one of the finest trailers for a movie I think I've ever seen.
This 1996 was pretty much dedicated to this awful movie. This
dedicated
movie
to
is so awful, and the hype for this movie was absurd. People were talking about this movie, especially because it was a comic book movie. People were talking about this movie for like 5 months, at least. And then the movie came out, and then all you saw was grown men with a stupid barbed wire tattoo. And all we got out of it, and I don't mean to minimize this in any way, was Pamela Anderson being doused with water, simulating a striptease. It's phenomenal. But the rest of the movie is hot garbage. Yeah.
They're called plumpies.
They are called plumpies. Thank you, Mike Glass. Get it right or pay the price, everybody.
It's
Best
true,
plumpies of 19.
The best plumpies money could buy.
Yes, because Tank Girl actually has a little bit of Tank Girl is plucky and is supposed to be weird and a little, this is a terrible movie with magnificent plumpies. There's something special about Tom Berenger just looking like he's drunk and beating people up. He did it in Sniper. He does it here as a substitute teacher. It's just his wish fulfillment. This is one of the best Wayans Brothers movies ever. And I love the story behind it because Sean and Marlon still being very disappointed from not being able to be Robin, but getting a big paycheck because he was supposed to be Robin. They wanted to make a movie. And Keenan was like, well, if you want to make a movie, I'm not putting you in one, so you guys got to write one yourselves. And then he kept telling that the script stunk up to, I think, like a week before they were supposed to start filming. He was like, do it again. And they did it again. And this movie is bleeping hysterical. It just takes all of the South Central LA movies from that era, and they make fun of it. And I had a amazing laugh because someone took Marlon's character and put Gavin Newsom on the body because of his 960 SAT score, for those of you who are aware of what I'm talking about. Long Kiss Goodnight. This is one of these movies that I don't know how it bombed, but it did, just like Third Island. But it's an awesome movie. Gina Davis is a secret agent who gets, who gets turned off, and all of a sudden her agent training gets kicked back in. And Samuel L. Jackson is just, I think he's like a PI, and it's just him going, what's happening? Why are all these people getting shot around me? And then you just watch them wreak havoc and things blow up. Very fun. The Quest. I love The Quest because Jean-Claude Van Damme had the audacity to make the same movie 5 times.
I was going to say you need to have a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie in every year.
Yes.
That it is possible for you to have one in the 90s.
Yes. The only difference with this one is Roger Moore is in this movie, which makes this movie amazing. But if you have seen Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Lionheart, Death, it's all the same thing. He goes to fight in a tournament and uses his amazing martial arts skills to win the day.
The end.
And Roger Moore's in it. So
I've never heard of this.
What?
You've heard of this? This is a good movie.
This is a great movie. So it's 2 former presidents who always ran against each other. So they hardly ever get along. But they uncover a conspiracy being perpetrated by Dan Aykroyd, who is the current president, before he became president. And Dan Aykroyd, in order to keep his secret, decides to pull his best Hillary Clinton impression and have these 2 killed. But they somehow survive, and they foil his plot. And one of the funniest things in the movie is, as they're running away from the Secret Service agents who are trying to kill them, they wind up muscling their way into a parade, and they think it's just a regular, just a happy town parade, and it winds up being a pride parade. So everyone's like, "Oh my God, these presidents are coming out," and James Garner's like, "No, no, 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 no. He's coming out." So Jack Lemmon is being celebrated, and he's thinking everybody loves him because he was the more popular president, and it's just it was miscommunication hijinks at its finest.
And Jack Lemmon and James Garner, these guys are legends. It's a good movie. You should see it if you haven't.
So this one, I was shocked this wasn't on Trish's list. But I was like, I can't not put this movie on my list, because if you ever wanted to see Mark Wahlberg at his whisperiest, it's this movie. I love you, Reese Witherspoon. I'm going to chop your dog's head off. So that's the entire movie. They meet. They have some teenage hijinks at the fair, and then he goes crazy, and then he beats up her dad, and then he's like stabbing himself because he's crazy, and then they win the end. It is just Poison Ivy, but for boys.
Yes.
Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. So, we got a few years earlier, we got what we got from Street Fighter. And then I felt like this was an apology to everybody who loves Street Fighter. Of course, we would go on to love Street Fighter because it was a Tuesday. But this movie has one of the best fight scenes of all time. And there were two versions of this. There was the one for wimps, and there was the one for people who like blood.
Mm-hmm.
It even gave you some Chun-Li side boob.
I would say, is the best fight scene ever? Is that the one? Is that Chun-Li Vega you're talking about?
Chun-Li Vega is one of the greatest fight scenes of all time.
My favorite part about that fight is Guile gets there and he's running up the stairs, and then we used to always joke that he got to the door, heard the fighting, left, got coffee, got a couple donuts, ate them, and then strolled back because it takes him forever to actually burst into that apartment.
But yeah, this movie is awesome. And then the Ken Ryu versus M. Bison fight at the end. Mwah.
I'll fight you on your own level.
And the soundtrack for this movie was incredible.
It ends on a cliffhanger, though.
Mid 90s grunge metal, incredible. All of it.
Ends on that cliffhanger with Bison driving the 18-wheeler at Ryu.
Best, but it picks up if you watch the TV show. It picks right up.
Does it? I thought the TV show was all about Guile.
I don't know, not the crappy American one.
Oh, the Japanese. Okay,
the Japanese one, yeah.
Okay.
And then it goes off the rails 3 episodes in. But
of course it does.
I have the DVD somewhere. I don't know what is there to say about Jerry Maguire other than this movie is incredible. Tom Cruise tries really hard. There's an adorable kid, and Cuba Gooding Jr. got an Oscar. Show me the money! That's it. That's all I got.
Oof, this is blurry.
Yeah, he started giving me really terrible thumbnails. These were teeny tiny, but it's what you gave me, so it's what I ran with.
I realized I was running out of time. The Tin Cup is awesome. Kevin Costner, Rene Russo. That's all you got. Plays golf. The end.
That's it. That's all you're going to give me.
Great movie. Twister, one of the best worst movies of all time. Finger of God, man. Finger of God.
Flying cow is
There's a cow.
Part of it.
Helen Hunt is tormented by a tornado. That's all you really need to know.
I mean, this ride had a theme park attraction.
A theme park attraction for an awful movie. That's so awful. It's great. I love First Wives Club.
I was going to say, Kevin loves this movie.
I love this movie. I do. I love this movie. And Elizabeth Berkley is super hot in it.
Good old Jesse Spano.
That's all I got for those two. Great White Hype. I love this movie. I love this movie. So the hook of the movie is that Damon Wayans is playing this boxer. It's almost like if Apollo never found Rocky. He's beaten everybody, and he's just really super tired of being champion, but his fights aren't drawing anything, and so his promoter realizes that he was defeated before he went pro, So they dig up the one man who was able to defeat him, and they start hyping it up like it's going to be this major cataclysmic event. And then they realize that to get more people interested in it, all of a sudden they start injecting racial overtones into it. John Rhys Davies plays an amazing English racist who's not racist, but is an English racist. And then you get to the fight, and oh god, I think it's Peter Berg. Like, they keep changing his character so that he appeals more and more and more. And they go to Boston and they make him Irish. And you think this fight is going to be like epic Rocky and Apollo. And Peter Berg hits Damon Wayans with a punch that knocked him out when they were semi-pro. And but Damon Wayans gets super fat and is smoking and has this massive belly, and because he's just just irritated by the whole thing, and is just offended, and everybody's betraying each other. And Samuel L. Jackson, he's going, "You're my brother, and I love you," and no matter what you say to him, and then Peter Berg hits Damon Wayans, and he stumbles, and then Damon Wayans goes, "Are you trying to embarrass me on live TV?" and kicks the crap out of Peter Berg's character. It is bleeping hysterical. I highly recommend this movie. I love Hellraiser movies.
You just made Trish Michael Jackson.
I did sound kind of Michael Jackson. You just made me snort.
This was kind of an apology tour from the Weinsteins ruining Hellraiser 3. Although Terry Farrell's in it, she looks fantastic. But this movie kind of gives you a nice origin for the box, and you're jumping through time, and you go to the future, and they do a cool little sci-fi, future people fight hell demons thing, and and then this was the last actual theatrical release, until the Hulu reboot, and then Doug Bradley
wasn't that terrible too.
Oh, well, it wasn't terrible. It was a smidgen too slow, and you just can't replace Doug Bradley. This is interesting, though. I do recommend, though, watching it, because it's not a reboot. It's a weird. It kind of tells you everything happened, and the Pinhead is not the same Pinhead, but it's I definitely say
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's just a whole thing.
All right. That's all of Kevin's picks. Give me a second.
I didn't think that was a crazy amount.
Oh, I didn't give you down Periscope?
No, I have down Periscope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to prune a couple because you guys did have a little tiny bit of overlap. So I gave it to the first one who claimed it. And
oh, no. I meant to give you Sergeant Bilko.
I think I saw that in the movie theater.
Really? That's awesome.
I think I did.
We do have some super chats. I want to get to those before we go to Marvin's. First up, we got Snarky for $4.99. Knew I could count on Editor-in-Chief to catch that. Thanks, just a little fun. The pro show was cray-cray.
Sounds like it.
So, I was going to say, it sounded.
It was. It was incredible. Wild and Crazy Bear for $2. 1996. The year N64 came out.
That's right.
Everything changed.
Mario Kart. GoldenEye. Oh my God, it's Nintendo 64!
Clay Napier for $5. Henry Rollins was the man behind the West Memphis music support.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Makes sense, though. I can see that in hindsight.
Snarky again for $4.99. I love Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow love you. Snarky for another $4.99. Outstanding movie. 2 great picks.
I'm going to assume they were mine.
Yes. J.J. Gosling for £5 British pounds sterling. Sly was meant to die in daylight, but screen audiences hated it so much they changed it so he lived. Chef Eddie for $2. Barbed wire is the superior version of Casablanca.
Oh.
Not speaking to you, Chef Eddie. Clay Napier for $2. Broken Arrow was a reunion of Mathis and Slater.
AC Slater? I'm just kidding.
And Jason Webster for $5 Australian. As someone who loves animation and received higher education in the art form, I have a real fondness for Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
You might hear about that one soon.
All right.
The way you said that.
That catches us up on the super chats. Now, first for Marvin is, as you would probably expect.
Yep, Muppet Treasure Island. This movie is it is one of the last great Muppet movies. This follows the success of Muppet Christmas Carol. They were trying to follow it up with another, classic piece of literature brought to life by the Muppets. This one delved into more like not quite CG than we're used to, but like Kermit actually has a full-on sword fight with Tim Curry. Tim Curry is chewing the scenery and having so much fun. I think just recently he said this was his favorite movie that he ever made. Like somebody said to him recently, like, yeah, he's in his wheelchair, something like that. They're like, Muppet Treasure Island was my favorite movie you did, and he said it was mine too. But he's got a great song with the just about the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. But I love the first song in this with the shiver my timber, shiver my soul, yo, yo. Like it's just a good pirate song. It has nothing to even do with the Muppets. It is this Gonzo and Rizzo are wonderful in this. They found a great way to incorporate Piggy into it. Kermit is awesome as Captain Small. Sam Eagle is hysterical from beginning to end. Honestly, this felt like a Sam Eagle breakout movie where like people started actually like, giving Sam more respect. Muppet Show fans always did, but he was grossly underutilized in a lot of the movies up to this point. But yeah, I mean, this movie's incredible. From the Muppets to Tim Curry to the boy soprano who played Jim Hawkins. I mean, I love this film. Down Periscope is such a funny movie. So I remember we watched this. My cousin was in the Navy at the time in a submarine. So like my whole family went to see this movie. And it is basically you've got Kelsey Grammer as this, submarine captain who has a bit of a reputation as a loose cannon, which was a strange kind of thing for Kelsey Grammer to be in because you're so used to him being Frasier and you're used to him being with these prim and proper roles. And he kind of gets to like let what little hair he had left down at this point. But the cast of characters in this is incredible. Like you got the one guy with the big ears who's the sonar guy, and he can literally just hear everything. A couple of crabs duking it out on the ocean floor there, Captain. Or Buckman, the ship's cook, the big fat guy who, when they're trying to stay quiet so that the other submarine doesn't find them, farts. You see the other submarine guy like there was some kind of explosion, and then when they make it through and don't get discovered, and Kelsey Grammer goes, "Somebody find Buckman and shove him in a torpedo tube." Like, I mean, of course, Kelsey Grammer also has a tattoo on his wiener in this one. It says "Welcome aboard."
So, I love how you started that with "of course." Of course he did. Of course he does.
That's the thing everybody remembers from this movie.
Of course.
Kev, what were you going to say about this film?
You covered it. I love this. I love this movie, and 96 has a lot of weird thematic overlaps. Like Sergeant Bilko and Down Periscope came out, I think, just a mere few months apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I only knew what Sergeant Bilko was because of Nick at Night.
Have you ever actually like have any of you guys ever actually gone into like a real submarine?
Yeah.
They had one in dry dock in New York City, and I remember going through one, and I was amazed at just how cramped and how because my cousin's a big dude. I was like, how did you ever survive underwater? And I had to get out of the thing because I started imagining it surrounded by water, and I was just like, nope, absolutely not. La Cage aux Folles, The Birdcage. This is such a funny movie. I mean, Gene Hackman, Robin Williams, and Nathan Lane at their very, very best. And Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, it's actually terrible that they didn't do more things together because they were an incredible comedic team in this. Their timing was wonderful with each other. I mean, and Gene Hackman plays it so perfectly. the stuck up kind of dad that they're trying to hide everything from.
Conservative senator.
Yes, the conservative senator dancing around with the guy in drag.
This movie is why to this day I call aspirin Pirin tablets. I don't call them aspirin ever.
I need another Pirin.
Again, this movie would not be able to be made today because they would have made Gene Hackman's character evil incarnate. And Robin Williams would not have been allowed to play straight. So
put that pinky down.
Cable Guy. I mean, this was with like the Jim Carrey like craze for the last like 3 years was starting to wind down at this point. And I remember going to see this on a very rainy day at a movie theater that was by a Toys R Us. And I remember being surprised that the Cable Guy ended up kind of being the villain of it. Which I don't know why I was surprised by that, because like all the advertising pointed to exactly that. But the medieval times scene is one of the best ever.
The mock time reenactment.
This isn't Star Trek. The best line in the entire movie is, there were no forks, there were no utensils in medieval times, therefore there are no utensils in medieval times. Can I refill your Pepsi? There were no forks, but there's Pepsi. Dude, I have other tables.
Wasn't this originally Chris Farley?
Yes, it was supposed to be Chris Farley.
Like it would have been a different movie with Chris Farley.
Yeah. It was supposed to be Chris Farley. Then he turned it down. Then he took it. Then he passed. And then they had spent a whole bunch of money. And they're like, well, maybe we can get Jim Carrey. And then he was like, you know what? I'll do it for you. The actual movie itself got made together, got made super duper fast. Super duper fast. And I think they promised Jim Carrey money in the back end if it did well.
My favorite line is Cabla Goobla. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is without a doubt, I think, the best music in any Disney movie. The score for this is absolutely incredible. It has some of the best songs that have ever come out of that company. I mean, Out There, an incredible song, Heaven's Light, Hellfire. Even things like God Help the Outcast, things like that. It's a really, really great film. Frollo is, in my opinion, the most evil Disney villain to ever exist. Like, that dude was like, he was a word I can't say on YouTube. But he, though what was interesting about it was like, I don't think this movie did super well, because even though Quasimodo is like cute ugly, people still didn't want an ugly main character. They added in Jason Alexander and the other like statues to bring that like Disney comic relief in there, but it's still a very serious movie a lot of the time. But you know what's funny? Like, Quasimodo falls in love with Esmeralda, and she still ends up walking away with the blonde hunk with the chiseled jaw. He does not get the girl in the end. And they've since adapted this into a really good Broadway style musical, but it ends very, very differently. And it begins very, very differently too, because in the Broadway show, Frollo is not a judge. He is what he was supposed to be in this movie before they changed it up. He's the Archdeacon of Notre Dame. So, yeah. This movie. I was amazed at this movie and just the range of Eddie Murphy, but he played all those different characters. I just rewatched this one recently. And I mean, like, this movie is so good. And obviously, the scenes that everybody remembers are the scenes with his family, with the Clumps. And that's why the sequel just leans so hard into the Clumps. You're muted, Kev.
The Dave Chappelle scene is incredible.
I watched that scene. The two Dave Chappelle scenes are amazing. That's it. I'm surprised you didn't take this one, Lorn.
I did, and I just realized that.
Okay.
I was just going to say, Lorn gave me his list, and it was definitely on there.
Because I even put it on my list if no one else takes it, because I knew you probably wanted it.
I know. I was scrambling, and I just didn't notice the overlap. That's why I was pausing while I moved to it. I was double-checking. It's like, yep, that was on my list.
Yep,
so.
Skip it.
No, it's fine. I already removed mine, so you go ahead and talk about it.
No, I want you to talk about it. It's on your list.
It's too late. I already removed it. Just talk about it, and I'll talk
Talk
after
about
you.
it now.
Okay,
Lorn.
I mean, Independence Day is a triumph. It is so good. The effects were incredible for the time, and they still hold up today. You have characters that have stood the test of time. From you know, you had oh, what's his face? Why am I blanking on his name? Plays himself in everything. He was
Jeff Goldblum?
Jeff Gold. You had Jeff Goldblum before being Jeff Goldblum was a thing.
You'll be dead if it wasn't for my son, David.
Oh, and you have the most Jewish character that's ever existed in Judd Hirsch.
Yep.
We can't say what Jim Norton called him, but like what he said his name should have been. But I mean, like if you could turn the sound into a human being, it was this character. He was amazing. Judd Hirsch is so good in this. Oh my gosh, and Jeff Goldblum's great. Will Smith. I mean, this is the Will Smith that I want. I want the Kraken wise, cigar in mouth, welcome to Earth. Will Smith, like that's the Will Smith that I want. I don't want serious crying Jada Pinkett Smith Will Smith. I want this movie's version of Will Smith, and of course one of the best movie president. If we ever do best movie presidents, I mean he's got to be on the list. And that speech, man, that speech is just top notch. At the end of it, we're gonna live on, we're gonna survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. I'm just. And as good as it was, the sequel was that bad.
See, I've got a love-hate relationship with this movie. I was so excited about this movie before it came out because I saw it as this is a revival of the 1950s alien invasion movie, but it's going to have a big budget. And it was that, and it did do that, and it just wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. And I think I probably lost it when they used a Macintosh to upload a virus to alien technology. I think that was when I finally went, okay, I can't take you seriously anymore. But I think the movie made me so mad that I haven't really watched it since, and it's probably due for a rewatch. I think I'd probably treat it a little more kindly than I did back then. I do remember it was an effects spectacle, and that's one of the reasons.
There was a reason though that they were able to upload the virus with that because they were using the Earth satellites to bounce their signal around. So they were able to piggyback off of that.
That's not the issue, Marvin. It's that you're having alien technology talk to a human machine. They don't have compatible protocols. It's like you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Lorn is like, I cannot abide your buffoonery.
Yeah, it's I sanction your buffoonery. But yeah, it's like I have a feeling I would go a lot easier on this movie today than I did back then because and also we forgot to mention Brent Spiner's in this movie in a surprising role because at the time everybody now obviously he'd been on Night Court, but his big role was Data. Everybody knew him as Data, and seeing him play this wild-eyed crazy scientist.
Wait, he was the scientist. He was the release me. That was it. Oh wow,
that's Data.
He weaseled a giant payday out of that for doing this movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, like good old Russell Case in Independence Day at the end there. I mean, I love the hello boys, I'm back. Like, Randy Quaid, man, that was such a good role for him. With that heartbreaking moment where he's just like, please tell my children that I love them very much. And just like this ridiculous character, like just comes full circle and saves the day in the end. I mean, I love that when the president's like, let's give Mr. Case some room, boy. Like when the president would have never been allowed to get in that plane, first of all. But the fact that he does makes it so much better.
Yep.
You want to talk about a movie that's going to ruin your day. Is this movie, like, so the trailer for this, everybody was like, oh, Robin Williams is like a kid who looks like a 40-year-old man. That's so funny. I can't wait to see that. And at some point when you're watching this movie, everyone has the same realization. Because you don't realize it before you go see the movie. You realize it while you're watching the movie. When they're like, he ages 7 times more than like what he looks like. Like, essentially, he's four times more or something like that. So he's 10 and he looks 40. And I'm like, wait a minute. So that means when he's like 20, he's gonna be 80. And you start to realize that, oh my gosh, he's going to die. And yeah, that's basically the movie. This is a sad movie because in the end, at the high school graduation, he's an old man. This is a day ruiner.
Marv bringing down the room.
Yeah.
I just found that Kevin also got The Long Kiss Goodnight. My list is being halved.
Look, you know what? Disney gets a lot of flack for the direct-to-video sequel era. Aladdin had two bangers. You had Return of Jafar, which I still think is great, but I think Aladdin and the King of Thieves was better. The songs are fantastic. You had Robin Williams back as the genie. You actually answered the long-running issue of who Aladdin's father is and where he's been. You had a new villain that wasn't Jafar, and it was pretty fun. You dealt with like more mythology outside of just like the lamp. Now, if they had actually done what they were supposed to do with this was supposed to be essentially the finale of Aladdin, the animated series, and it was going to be the reveal that Mosenrath was Aladdin's brother also, and this was going to be Aladdin, like the big Aladdin family drama. But they finally get married at the end of it.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
why did they not do that?
Mosenrath was supposed to be Aladdin's brother?
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Why did they not do that?
I don't think they thought that enough because they wanted this to have like a wide video release. I don't think they thought enough people actually watched the animated series for people to get it, because you would have had to go in full tilt with Aladdin already knowing who Mosenrath is. So, but Mosenrath is a better villain than Jafar. Last week I had Very Brady Movie, a Very Brady sequel. Was just, I mean, you took one of the greatest sitcom TV two-parters of all time, the Hawaii Brady Bunch episode, and you made a movie out of it. You managed to tie Gilligan's Island into it at the same time, because the guy that poses as Carol's husband, who's trying to con them, you find out that Carol's husband was actually the professor on Gilligan's Island, and that's where he's been the entire time. That's like the big reveal at the end of it. Yeah, but this was amazing. Like, I love that they do the tiki out with the doo-doo-doo. Yeah, it's maybe not as good as the first one, but it's really good. I mean, come on, Space Jam is the quintessential. Look, I have seen 3 basketball games in my entire life: when Michael Jordan retired, when Michael Jordan came back, and Space Jam. This was kind of the last hurrah of the Looney Tunes. It was the last like major Looney Tunes thing that succeeded, because they've tried other times and it just didn't work. But I mean, Michael Jordan, like I said, I had only seen a few basketball games in my life, and I had a Michael Jordan poster in my room. So every kid had a Michael Jordan poster somewhere.
Did any of you guys see the I think it was Porky and Daffy Destroy the World movie last year?
I heard it was good. I never actually saw it. The day the Earth blew up or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I need to check that out because the animation looked good.
I actually heard it's actually excellent. But yeah, I mean, everyone from like Wayne, Bill Murray's cameo in this is the best. Like, when he talks about playing basketball with Michael Jordan, he's like, "Is it because I'm white?" And he's like, "No, man, Larry's white." And he goes, "Larry's not white. Larry's clear."
Can retire on top and undefeated.
I mean, the Monstars were wonderful villains. Moron Mountain, Danny DeVito. I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture. It's very, very good. I mean, look, this is literally a world in which Michael Jordan gets sucked down a golf hole into Looney Tune land. And the most unbelievable thing about it was that Michael Jordan lived in like a moderately nice suburban home.
All right. That's it for Marvin's picks. Mine, I think, are going to go pretty quick. The first one that I have is A Time to Kill. And This movie came out at exactly the right time for me, I think. I was in high school. We actually read that novel. It was the first John Grisham novel that I ever read. It was fantastic. And part of the reason that I remember it is because we would read the novel aloud in class, and we would each get to play a part, and I got to play Samuel L. Jackson's part. And when we got to the point when he was asked if he would, when he says, "Yes, I'd do it again," that's very cleaned up. I went for it. I was in full-on high school drama mode. I emoted, and I used all the bad words, and I got away with it because we were reading a book. And it was a lot of fun. It was fun. So
This was
it's a great movie, great character drama. It's Matthew McConaughey, I think, in one of his best roles. Actually, doesn't get talked about enough. It's a good movie.
everybody screaming. Oh, oh, I'm glad they died, and I hope they burn in hell. Just high school halls just being filled with Samuel L. Jackson impressions.
You knew this had to be on the list. In my mind, this is the only good Next Generation movie. I did not like any of the others. I was disappointed by every one of them. But First Contact is a great Next Generation movie. James Cromwell is great in this movie. And a totally different spin on the character than what anybody expected. Everybody thought that Ephraim Cochrane, Zephram Cochrane?
Yeah.
Was going to be a very serious inventor of the warp drive, not a drunken fellow who's barely holding everything together. This gave you a check-in on how Picard is dealing with things after the cliffhanger between season 3 and 4 and his encounter with the Borg. It has something that I forgot was that the line when he loses it, when the lady pushes him and says, "This is where we draw the line, not one step further," that line. I thought that was an actual historical line. I thought somebody important said that. No, I looked it up one time trying to figure out who said that. Jean-Luc Picard said that. And that's a good sign that you've written
here. No father.
They
right.
invade our race, and we fall back. They assimilate world after world, and we fall back. The line must be drawn here. This far, no further. And I will make them pay for what they've done.
I was convinced that was a real historical line, and that tells you you've written a good script, because if I'm looking it up thinking somebody important must have said that, and it comes up as, no, that's Patrick Stewart in Star Trek First Contact. It's like, wait, he wasn't quoting somebody else? Nope, that's just part of the script. It's a good movie. So well worth the watch. Dragonheart, which is kind of a dark horse pick for me. And I'm going to explain why something is not on my list, so it's sort of on my list here. I saw Dragonheart as a double feature at a drive-in with Mission Impossible. And I only got to go to the drive-in, I think, 2 or 3 times before it was torn down, so it's actually a really good memory for me. I really enjoyed going with it. We had a whole bunch of friends all piled into a car together, and we watched these back-to-back, and like I said, I only got to do this like twice in my life before they tore the drive-in down. Mission Impossible was the other part of this, though, and I could not forgive that they made Peter Graves' character, I can't think of his name for some reason.
Jim Phelps.
Jim Phelps, thank you. I couldn't get over that they made him the villain.
They
I
do
thought this
resolve
was
that, by the way.
How so?
They introduced Jim Phelps Jr.
I don't know, man. It's like I didn't want. That's the whole reason I never watched another Mission Impossible movie. I have not seen any of them after that because I was so angry about what they did.
Remember how pissed off Peter Graves was?
Oh, yeah. And I don't blame him a bit. That was so disrespectful to the franchise. Do you guys remember the Mission Impossible revival that came out in the 90s, the TV show?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
That was a good show. That was a good show, too. And it only lasted, I think, maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah,
What did they do with this character? Because I was elsewhere.
Oh,
they made Jim Phelps the villain of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that was unforgivable. I couldn't, I could not understand. The rest of the movie was great. The stunts, the action, the story, it was all fine. But they disrespected Jim Phelps. And so that's why I left Mission Impossible off the list. It's the only reason I left it off the list. Dragonheart, though, I remember being kind of amazed by this movie at the time. The animation for the dragon character at the time was revolutionary. It was incredible. I thought Dennis Quaid did a fantastic job playing Quinn. Sean Connery as the voice of the dragon was inspired and really fantastic. And I remember when Quinn takes the oath again. That is the emotional moment in the movie for me. I love this movie. And also, The Ugly Prince. Do you know who The Ugly Prince is? Trish should know this one.
Well, I see David Thewlis at the top, so guessing it's Remus Lupin.
It is indeed.
I am the last of the dragons.
The Ghost of the Darkness. Now, this is kind of an odd pick. Do you guys remember this one?
I remember this one. So I was hoping that you were going to pick this or The Island of Dr. Moreau.
I never saw The Island of Dr. Moreau. I've heard lots of stories about it. This one, though, what's kind of fascinating about this is that this is based on a true story. And it's about these lions that actually developed a taste for human flesh. And
it's like a horror movie.
We're sort of acting as a tag team serial killer pair of lions. They actually work together to lure humans out and sort of tag team them. And the movie is about these hunters that go out to take them down. Val Kilmer, Michael Douglas, always a good time. I'm not a huge Val Kilmer fan. I am a big Michael Douglas fan, and I think this is a good movie for both of them. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, and if you want to look into the history of it, it's actually based on a true story, which is part of what makes it interesting for me. So my next pick is actually not really a pick from me. This is sort of a pick that is for my son, because I think when he was in first grade or second grade, he tried out for and got a minor part in the play Matilda, and it was one of the greatest experiences for him. He loved everything about it. He sung the music nonstop. We watched every version of Matilda that we could find, including this one. This is the Americanized version. I think the play is probably better when you're basing it in Britain, but in any case, it's still a good movie, and my son absolutely adores it, and I wanted to put that on there for him.
So apparently the little girl who plays Matilda in this, the girl from Mrs. Doubtfire, I think her mother passed away during the filming of this movie or shortly around it. And apparently Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman like stepped up and became like real parental figures in her life. Like they really became like family, apparently, from what I had heard.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
So that's a cool story. If you have not seen it, or if you're not familiar with the story, it is worth a watch. I think that you'll enjoy it.
I was really like depressed when Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman got a divorce. I was just like, man, there's no such thing as love. Like I loved them. I loved them as a couple so much. Like Family Guy did a thing. It's like when Danny DeVito proposed to Rhea Perlman and he goes, "Come on, Rhea, it's me and nobody." All right.
Next up, From Dusk Till Dawn. And this is just a fun, schlocky movie with George Clooney, and it's a Robert Rodriguez movie, and Quentin Tarantino's in it, and it's a vampire movie, and it's got some hot scenes. It's schlock. It's just schlock. This is my schlocky pick, and I just like it. So that's why it's on the list. If you're in the mood for some schlock that is Tarantino-esque and Robert Rodriguez kind of a vibe, this is a good movie for you. Do you guys have a prediction about what my last movie might be? I was a little surprised this didn't end up on Marvin's list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left it. I had too many, and I was like, it's
It's not a great movie. It's not a great movie. But back when this came out, this was your introduction to young Anakin Skywalker. It was before Episode 1 came out. We all knew he'd been cast, and I had to see it for that reason. And frankly, it gave me no insight into how he was going to play Anakin Skywalker. But I know a lot of people actually do like this movie.
I watched it
there's
every Christmas.
there's a fondness for it among some people. It wasn't really great for me, but it's one that I felt like should be on the list just because.
Put that cookie down.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know I'm kind of ending on a weak note here, but that's just the way the cookie crumbled this time.
You're ending on a Sinbad movie. That's not a weak note.
All right, I'll take that defense if you're going to give it to me. But that was our list.
The entire movie is when he says that he has a bomb in that package, and the guy, and then he leaves, and they open it, and it actually is a bomb, and he goes, "That really was a bomb. This is a sick country."
We got some super chats before we close out. We have from Jason Webster for $5 Australian. The film Helen Hunt got her knickers in a twist chasing twisters. Dr. Richard James for 2. Lauren Holly was gorgeous in Down Periscope.
She was.
Lauren Holly is gorgeous, period.
Mm-hmm. Down bubble.
Sean, formerly Artist John, for $4.99. Kevin Arnold's movies Tour de Force came out this year. The Stupids, Carpool, Big Bully, all ignored. And where is Adrenaline Fear the Rush, Lorn?
I couldn't fit the Carpool, and I had to make a choice. And I don't remember. I don't think I liked Big Bully.
I don't know that last one you're talking about. I'm not familiar with that one, so I'm sorry. Retromeister for 5. Space Jam OG was more patriotic compared to New Legacy with the message of creative freedom versus corporate slavery with MJ putting himself on the line.
I never saw it as patriotic, but I could see the case being made.
I highly recommend Teen Titans Go watches Space Jam.
I've never heard of that. And I've also never watched the Space Jam with LeBron because I'm just like, I don't care. There's
nothing to see.
We've got John Pike becoming a new YouTube member. Welcome to the club. Happy to have you here. And our last one is JJ Gosling for £2 saying, sorry, Lauren, Columbo said it first. The conspirators.
I wish Martin were here.
Is that true? Because when I looked it up, I did not find any other reference for it except for First Contact. So, and it would be odd to have Jean-Luc Picard referencing Columbo.
Martin would know. Martin loves Columbo. It's a shame he's not here to confirm or deny.
This feels like a joke to me, but it's just plausible enough that I'm not sure.
It could go either way.
I mean, it would be awesome if Jean-Luc Picard was quoting Columbo, but it would be an odd reference. Well, anyway, that's our show for tonight. Thank you, all of you, for being here. We've had a really good time. This was the year 1996. Our next one should be 1997, unless something unexpected comes up. Hope you guys will all join us when we have our next show on Friday. Guys, do you have anything that you want to pitch before we take off for the night?
To that Park Place Live tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at noon. Game stream tomorrow night at 7. On M4 Empire Gaming, please subscribe, and then of course M4 Cast Thursday night where we'll all be there at 8:00.
Trish?
Sorry, I was distracted. I do The Lost Guys with Martin Stone, Nolan Thunder, and Hangry Table. It's a That Park Place member exclusive, and it eventually makes its way over to T3PO. Check it out. We talk about a whole array of stuff. It's a good time.
Kevin?
I've got a video about Jaden. I also broke down the ratings for New Trek versus Classic Trek, and even sent an email to Pluto TV to see if they would give me data. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I don't think anybody will be surprised by the results.
All right. That's it for us tonight, guys. Again, hope to see you again on Friday. And until then, be safe, take care. Hope you all have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Lorn and Apollo!